Welcome to Home Practice. This is my short session spine flow.
Short clips from this season of Home Practice. Our disabled and non-disabled teachers dance and deliver their sessions in a brightly lit studio with a wooden floor. Pastel-coloured geometric shapes glide across to reveal text inside the outline of a house. Home Practice.
Hi, I'm Amy, as some of you may know. I'm a standing dancer. Today I have black trousers on and a white top with some nice stripes of colour. I have short curly hair, recently cut, and I'm in a nice clear space, but behind me there are a few items. There's a plant, a jug of water, tea towel, a bit of fruit. So this session today, we are going to use imagery and props as aids to connect to our spine on a deeper level. You might find that the work takes you deeper in your spinal movement, but that's not the point. So the objective is for us to improve our sense of awareness and experience of our spine and its movement. One of the props I use is a towel. If you have one to hand, fantastic, because it's quite a nice one to sort of experience physically, but it's not essential, so don't worry. And I think Tom's Seed, Move Your Bones, offers really interesting alternative imagery for the spine. So if you want to enrich your experience further and you've got room for more, try his seed afterwards. And then Nadan also does an amazing spinal awakening, which is another quite cool class to try after doing this one and see whether your experience of your spine has changed. So we're going to begin by finding an upright position. If you're standing, have your feet in parallel underneath your pelvis and a little bend in your knees, so we're not locking into the legs. And try and keep this position throughout our explorations. And then we're going to keep the pelvis and lower spine relatively stable. So try not to take the movement so far that the pelvis displaces, but then also don't lock it. Yeah, kind of be slightly gentle with this. And we're going to work with the spine movement in flexion and extension. So we might know that as a curve and an arch. In lateral flexion, which is also called side tilt, and then rotation, which is twisting. We're going to begin with flexion. So we're going to take an easy roll down and then reverse this movement to come back up. Remember, trying not to go so far that you displace your pelvis. Take this in your own time. Maybe take it again. And then I want you to evaluate that. Some questions you want to ask are, were there any parts of your spine that felt a bit abstract, like you were disconnected from, and maybe there were some places that were a bit uncomfortable or sticky? So just really kind of taking that information, try and evaluate, try and kind of notice what your experience was. And then we're going to work with our first prop. It's actually two props. So the first prop I'm going to use, or image, is the image of a string of beads. So I want us to picture each bead as a part of our spine, so one little vertebra. And as you roll forwards, each vertebra drops over, each bead trickles over into your roll down. It's quite a nice sound as well. I'm going to do that once more. I really kind of like the way it helps me connect to every tiny bit of my spine. So really try and picture each little bead dropping over as you roll down. So I want you to really try and hold on to that as you roll down. To come up, to reverse the movement, to come back upright, we're going to think about teacups stacking. This is actually an Eric Franklin image. So you are in your flexion, you are in your curve, and as you roll up, each teacup stacks to come back up. It's quite nice that they have these handles which kind of look like your vertebra. So one more time. It's quite a hard one to demonstrate. So each cup stacks as you come up. Great, I'm going to pop my props back. We're going to take our roll down and up again, thinking of those two images. So the beads as you roll down and the cup stacking as you roll up. Maybe take it a couple of times. I like to close my eyes. And then just take a moment to reevaluate. So how was that? Perhaps you can give it a number again. Maybe you had a better kind of connection to each little part of your spine. It might not have changed your experience, that's fine too. Pause if you need. Otherwise, we're going to move on to lateral flexion or side tilt. So again, finding upright position, soft in the back of the knees, which is a term I use just for a little bend in the knees. And again, just trying to keep the pelvis and the lower vertebra relatively stable. And then taking a side tilt to both sides. So first just allowing your ear to drop towards your shoulder, then your shoulder and your ribs into the side tilt, and then you reverse the movement, bringing your ribs back, your shoulders, your neck, your head, other side. Were you holding any tension in your jaw, in your face? If you want to take it again, please do. Otherwise, we're going to move on to the second image or prop. I hope I don't mess this one up because it involves liquid. So, we are going to picture ourselves as this jug of water. And as we tilt, the water pours out continuously, smoothly, fluidly. And then to come back from the tilt, you're going to picture your jug filling up. That wasn't bad, I just dropped one little drop of water. I'm going to show you again because I really love it, and I love the sound, that kind of continuous kind of liquid sound. So pouring water out into your side tilt, and like you're filling the jug of your body back up as you come back. Okay, Let's take our lateral flexion again with those images. The jug pouring water out and then filling back up. Take both sides, eyes open, closed, whatever's useful for you. If you need a little more time, please just pause. Again, you might want to give that experience a number. And then we're going to come to rotation. So again, in your upright position, soft back of the knees, trying not to move your pelvis too much. We are just going to take a rotation one side and back, and then the other side. So a twist, if that's a more familiar term. Take this as many times as you need to have a sense of the experience. A question I quite like to ask myself is, where can I see? And then for me, this side was very different. I had quite a lot of tension. And if you do have a towel to hand, then grab it. If not, don't worry, it's not essential. I just have an old red tea towel. So for our final image, we're going to think about our towel being pulled in two directions. So I'm holding my towel lengthways and I've kind of squeezed it into a narrow shape. And I'm going to pull a little bit down and a little bit up. So I have a little bit of torsion in the towel. Yes, a little bit of tension. Sorry, a little bit of tension, not torsion. We're going to do tension before torsion. So we're going to pull in either direction, not too hard, but just a nice sort of energy in either direction. And then we begin to twist the towel. And we keep that energy in both directions as we unravel. We'll try the other direction. So yeah, perhaps we could call this tension, a little bit of tension before torsion. Just made that up. Fantastic, isn't it? So lengthening in either direction before we find that wringing, that twisting of the towel, keeping that as we unravel back. So let's take our rotations, our twists again, with this sense of the length of the spine being this towel pulled in both directions, gently but firmly. Take both sides again in your own time. And again, reevaluate. For me, it was quite different. So I'm going to invite you to do something a bit more complex with all these images and all these movements of the spine. We're going to put them together in a little sequence, and we're also going to add a little extension of the spine. So I'm going to talk you through And hopefully it's really clear. And then when I do it with sound, I'm not going to say anything. So we're going to first drop our beads over into a flexion. We're going to keep in that flexion as we apply a little bit of two-way energy to our towel and take a rotation. We're then going to stack our cups, keeping that rotation to come back upright. And then we're going to pour our jug of water. We're still in that rotation. And then we're going to derotate and relieve that tension of the towel. And then we're going to fill our jug back up. And then finally, keeping that sense of two-way tension in the towel as we lift our chest into a small extension and come back. I quite like to have a sense of the length of the spine as I take extension, so I'm going to use that image of the towel again there. Yeah? Again. Drop our beads forward into a flexion. Find a little bit of a two-way sense of that towel being pulled up and down as we take a rotation. Keep that rotation as you stack your cups. Keep that rotation as you pour water out of the jug. And then derotate, kind of release the energy of the towel and fill your jug back up. Find a little bit of tension again as you take your extension and back to the center. Great. You will hear some music come in and then we'll take this sequence a couple of times. I'm going to do 2 slow beats for each move. Ready. Again. I'm going to take that one more time, each side. If you want to go a little deeper, make the movement a little bit bigger, you can. Take from this what you need. Ready? 5, 6, 7, go. Thank you for joining me for this short session, Spine Flow. Hopefully you now have a deeper connection to your spine and how it moves. And then like, subscribe, share, and I hope to see you again soon.
Home Practice, Stopgap Dance Company.